The AutoZip Subsea Stud Tensioner is designed to operate without manipulation by human hands. The zip nut puller bar is pushed on over stud threads. The hydraulic load cell pulls the stud into tension, and the nut rotator turns the nut down using a hydraulic motor and gear drive. The unit shown here is for use on 1 5/8 inch diameter studs with 8 threads per inch. This indicates the location of hydraulic cylinders to actuate the AutoZip thread reaction unit, the hydraulic motor and nut rotator gear drive, and the hydraulic load cell. The reaction unit cylinders and nut rotator motor may be operated with hydraulic pressure of up to 2,500 psi. The load cell requires up to 28,000 psi. These hydraulic circuits are to be provided by an ROV or from a support vessel. Hydraulic circuits were provided for this test from power units operated by the Fast-Torque support manager. He monitored the pressure gauge on each circuit to determine what was happening. The nut rotator motor circuit will show a pressure of 200 to 300 psi when the nut is rotating on the stud. When the nut makes contact with the flange, the pressure increases rapidly until it reaches the preset maximum pressure when the motor stalls at the preset torque level. The puller bar actuator cylinders show the preset pressure when the thread segments are open and no pressure when the thread segments are released to close on the threads. The load cell pressure increases as bolt load increases up to the maximum design pressure. The 1 5/8 inch test stud is mounted on a plate, and the stud, nut, and plate are lowered into a test tank. The AutoZip stud tensioner is connected by hoses to the hydraulic pump and lowered into the water. A hard suit from American Oilfield Divers is prepared for the test and rolled into position. The pilot is assisted into the suit by the support crew, and the communications and power cables are attached to the suit prior to lifting the hard suit into position and lowering it into the tank. The lifting cable is detached, and the pilot is then free to fly the suit using the suit power and control systems. The Fast-Torque support manager connects the hydraulic hoses to the pump and plugs into the pilot's communication system so the tensioner may be actuated on command. Buoyancy devices are added to the AutoZip tensioner to facilitate handling, and the pilot then manipulates the tensioner into position and pushes it on to the stud. The hydraulic motor is activated to run the nut down the stud and in contact with the plate. Puller bar actuator cylinders are released to engage the puller bar securely on the stud. The load cell is then activated to tension the stud, and the hydraulic motor actuated again to run the nut down. The puller bar actuator cylinders are then pressurized to release the tensioner from the stud. The hydraulic hoses are disconnected from the puller bar actuator cylinders for the second test. This was done to allow the pilot to use the mechanical release handles on the tensioner to engage and release the puller bar. This alternative method is for hard suits and diver operations. A close-up view shows the tensioner piston moving under pressure and engaging the puller bar to tension the stud. The pilot removes the tensioner from the stud by releasing the AutoZip puller bar. The tensioner is again placed on the stud and the nut run down. All functions have been accomplished with remote manipulation.